How's it going, you all?
And welcome back to B-Bros. Before the finale of The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, we will break down the penultimate episode, Truth.
Most of the topics, such as Sam's destiny, Bucky's conscience, and Zemo's faith, are resolved in the episode, and we are left having to deal with the Power Broker, the Flag Smashers, and John Walker.
So, without further ado, let's get into the breakdown.
The title of the episode is a reference to the comic that tells Isaiah Bradley's story, Truth, Red, White, and Black. We made a video about Isaiah's origins and explained the comic. You can check it if you're interested.
Truth can be identified with many things in this episode. Truth about Isaiah, Captain America, the Shield, and where everyone stands on these matters, which shows us everyone's truth can be different.
For Isaiah, no black man should own the shield, whereas Sam believes he will set an example by owning it. Karli thinks it should be destroyed, whereas Bucky believes it should be with someone who deserves it. Of course, we have John Walker who thinks it should be his. It is easy to understand and empathize with all sides, which proves there can be more than one truth.
We will do our best to further explain the perspective of each character on this and other subjects to have a clear transition to the final episode.
This episode begins with John Walker having PTSD after murdering a Flag Smasher. He is conflicted and angry. He is crushed under the weight of the shield. He cannot handle being Captain America and gives wrong decisions constantly. This proves how giving the shield to a person who doesn't deserve it and fully understand the legacy of it can destroy him. The US government, that will take away the title of Captain America later in the episode, makes John Walker the scapegoat, but they are as guilty, if not more.
They turn this great soldier, who is not a bad person, into a murderer. This of course is not the only failure of the US government. There are hundreds of black soldiers they have killed when experimenting on them. Probably there are many others that we did not see the stories of.
Sam and Bucky decide to take the shield from John and choose an unnecessarily aggressive way. We believe they could have reasoned with him one way or another. They made the mistake of attacking Karli as well, but we know if Sam had a few more minutes, he could have agreed with her. We can say Bucky and Sam's dislike or even hatred for what John Walker stands for comes in the way of what is right.
The fight scene between Sam and Bucky and John was very well choreographed with the score from Civil War. The music is used to resemble a similar feel to Cap, Bucky and Tony's fight. Three people on the same side fight each other due to solvable conflict.
After a long battle, Sam and Bucky retrieve the shield and meet with Joaquin Torres. Joaquin advises them to lay low until there is a strong lead they can follow as the UN takes jurisdiction. These limitations to superheroes are effects of the Sokovia Accords.
After this meeting, Bucky leaves to find Zemo and Sam takes the shield to understand. He leaves the wings behind to Joaquin, which can refer to him being the new Falcon just like in the comics.
After John Walker's mantle of Captain America is taken from him, he is unwilling to let go of the title. Just when he was being calmed by his wife, Contessa Valentina Alegre de Fontaine intervenes. She supports John's actions and gives him the wrong message. John is directed to the wrong path away from redemption.
Val has an extremely mysterious appearance in this episode, and we have no idea where she is coming from. To shed some light, we can share her comic book origin. She was the right hand and also the girlfriend of Nick Fury, and she had a very important role as a S.H.I.E.L.D. agent. But she betrays Nick Fury and joins Hydra, then she takes the name Madam Hydra.
Both S.H.I.E.L.D. and Hydra are two sides of a coin, no longer currency.
Hydra, S.H.I.E.L.D. Two sides of a coin that's no longer currency.
We believe Val is tied with the Power Broker, and the Power Broker is planning to take down the Flag Smashers using John Walker. We also do not know the Power Broker's identity. However, the rumors of her being Sharon is impossible to dismiss. It is plausible for sure at this point.
Val mentions something important in this episode, that the shield doesn't belong to the government and it is a legal gray area. Of course, this shield is made by Howard Stark and his resources. If he was doing it privately and gave it to Steve Rogers, it cannot be owned by the government.
This episode most likely is the last time we get to see Zemo in the series. Zemo was expecting Bucky to find him, therefore was visiting his country for the last time. Zemo fulfilled his goal to break the Avengers and destroy what is left of the super soldier serum. He trusts Bucky and Sam to stop the Flag Smashers. He has nothing to live for and therefore doesn't run away. Bucky proves that to Dora Milaje by pointing and triggering a gun in front of his eyes.
Seeing this, the Dora Milaje decides to spare Zemo's life and take him to Raft. They aren't happy with letting Zemo go, therefore ask Bucky to stay away from Wakanda. Apparently, the consensus on Wakanda was to capture or even kill Zemo. However, they are willing to help the White Wolf with another favor.
We mentioned how this is probably the last time we get to see Zemo in the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, but he is a very popular character and it would be unwise of Marvel to cast him aside. Daniel Brühl mentioned in one of his interviews how not dying is a good sign because you can be reused, and we think that is what is going to happen with him.
It's always a good sign when they don't kill you.
The Raft prison is run by Secretary Ross at this point, and in the comics, Ross created a group called the Thunderbolts from a bunch of high-level prisoners. Zemo is the leader of that group. The idea is similar to the Suicide Squad.
We move on to arguably the most important scene of the episode. Sam travels to Baltimore to meet with Isaiah to learn about Isaiah's past and understand the legacy of the Shield. Sam is now open to the idea of being Captain America, but knows he needs to learn more before taking the responsibility. Isaiah crushes his hopes though. His experience as a super soldier has been nothing but disappointing to say the least.
He lost everything, including his hope for the future. He believes a self-respecting black man should never own the shield. He is very extreme due to his experience. He definitely has a point, but this is his own truth. As we mentioned, different people can have different truths, and Sam doesn't have to have the same view as Isaiah. Even though the trip doesn't go as Sam wanted, this is extremely helpful for him to learn about Isaiah. He can use this example in his journey of becoming the new Captain America.
Disappointed after his conversation, Sam returns to his home where Bucky also meets him. As they are expecting news from Joaquin, they begin to fix the boat. As nice and rare as it is to see the superheroes live normal and simple lives, fixing the boat represents so much more than repairing an old transport. It represents fixing themselves and their relationships. During this time, Bucky makes peace with himself and learns to make his own decisions from Sam's advice.
Sam takes his own advice and accepts the fact that he can be Captain America. They also make up with each other as well. They patch up old wounds. Bucky apologizes from Sam about how he reacted about the shield. Sam also clears things with her sister. Fixing the boat clears Bucky and Sam's heads before the final fight. They finally escape from the shadow of Steve Rogers, not only in their own minds, but in our minds as well. They are deeper characters that are more than sidekicks to Captain America.
Bucky leaves, waiting for a call from Sam to face Karli. Sam, on the other hand, trains with the Shield. He has a Rocky Balboa-like training sequence with a great soundtrack. After his training, Sam finally opens the box that came from Wakanda. We might get to see Sam wear a vibranium Captain America suit to get over the fact that he is not a super soldier. The new suit might help him to level the playing field.
Karli and the Flag Smashers are now at New York to prevent the UN from voting about the refugee crisis. They meet with Batroc to even the odds. Of course, Batroc is hired by Sharon Carter, just like in the beginning of the series, which we learned from their conversation over the phone. We believe Sharon, or the Power Broker, hires Batroc to stop Karli. The Power Broker and the Flag Smashers are on the opposing sides due to the Super Soldier Serum situation.
If the Power Broker is responsible of both Batroc and Val, it would be logical to think she is planning to sabotage Karli. However, she might want to profit from this conflict and might be sending Batroc as a genuine ally. It is hard to predict right now, but we will see soon enough. We think the first scenario is more plausible though.
Sam is not the only person with a new suit and weapon. In the end credit scene, John Walker makes his own shield. It cannot be from vibranium, but we are interested to see which material is used and how durable and light it is. Marvel can use this opportunity to introduce a new type of element, adamantium. Originally in the comics, Cap's shield is from adamantium, which is also the metal inside the Wolverine.
We believed John Walker was going to be the main villain of the story since the second episode. He's more violent, unstable, and dangerous, especially after the serum, than the Flag Smashers. Also, seeing the new Captain America as a villain would prove how impossible being Steve Rogers really is.
We shouldn't forget about how it would make Sam a more convincing Captain America as well. The final scene can be the indication of John Walker being the real villain. The penultimate episode of The Falcon and the Winter Soldier cleared the way before the finale, and we cannot be more excited. We still have a lot to look forward to, but also know what to expect.
We will be back next week to discuss the performance of Marvel Disney Plus series and the future.
Until then,
Bieber's out.